Premier Sports Fan Center. Again, anywhere. Don't forget to subscribe. Remember to hit that subscription button.
Hello, welcome to another electrifying episode of Talk Sport on Premier Sport Fan Center. I'm your host Adeyemi Shegun, joined by my expert pundits on this program. Yemites who together will be running all through the news and information from the Club World Cup to blockbuster summer transfers, and from Manchester City internal shakeups up to PSG versus Inter Milan in the UEFA Champions League final. This episode is packed, but before we start, I have to introduce Yemites to you. Yemites, good evening and welcome to.
Good evening, Shegun. So good to be back. 7 days has gone in the world of sport, and a lot to talk about, a lot to deliberate on, and it promises to be an exciting show today.
Okay, we start first with the 2025 Club World Cup, which is coming up very soon in June. English clubs are thus set to dominate again at this Club World Cup, with more English teams qualifying for the 2025-2026 UEFA Champions League. Looking at the 2025 Club World Cup, could this be another display of from Premier League dominance? Because the way we saw it in the the UEFA Europa League, where we had Tottenham Hotspur winning that, and we also saw Chelsea win the Conference League, and right now we have Chelsea, we also have Manchester City, and I think Liverpool Chelsea and Manchester City will be representing England at the Club World Cup. Are we looking forward to see another England dominance?
I don't think so, because when you look at it, Man City is a team that stumbled throughout the season. Then Chelsea too is just a team that is just trying to find their way. Conference League they won is just a lower competition, whereby Chelsea faced the likes of Jorgaden and all those teams. Now we are talking about facing the Galacticos, who has taken this competition very seriously with the signings they've been making. They had to change their coach even going into that competition. They want to win it, and I don't think that England will really dominate this one. I don't think so. But going to next season Champions League, I think that it is the transfer window that they have that will matter, because a lot of them need to recruit. Tottenham cannot go like this to the Champions League and not be whooped. Chelsea cannot go like this to the Champions League and not be whooped. And even Arsenal needs to recruit. Even Man City needs to do a lot of business. We've been seeing them, the news on the transfer market, while how Man City has been all over trying to sign Tijani Renders and also Czech from Lyon. So they need to recruit. It depends mostly on how much they recruit and the quality of the players they bring into their fold.
Okay, and also looking at the English side that will be representing the EPL at the Club World Cup, Chelsea and Manchester City. Which of those English clubs is best positioned to succeed in the tournament?
For me, I still think it will still be Man City. They finished ahead of Chelsea. Even a season whereby they've been struggling, they still defeated Chelsea home and away. So I think they're a better side compared to Chelsea. Chelsea is just a newbie trying to find their feet again.
Okay, we'll go straight to Manchester City, and still Manchester City, where might just stop. Now let's talk about the rebuilding troubles at the top. A disappointing season, no doubt, on players on behavior concern, and Pep Guardiola pushed for a smaller and more manageable squad this season. Is that the way to go for Manchester City?
If you know Guardiola over the years, he has not been that manager you have 35 players in. He likes his squad small. In range, so I'm not surprised if he now comes to say I only want 23, 24. I don't want too many players, and there's a reason why he's saying that, because when it's too much choose, it's too many headache. We can see what Chelsea went through. I don't want to envy Enzo Maresca on this season, because I think that's one of the reasons why Pochettino moved on, because see, there is no way you see Chelsea was just lucky this season. One, due to the fact that Tottenham stumbled, they had a poor season. Man U had a poor season. Just imagine Man U was in form. Man U was not in form. Chelsea struggled to defeat them 1-0. If they were in form, I don't think Chelsea would have won that game. And Chelsea might not have gone to Champions League. So you have to just juxtapose. Look at Newcastle. Chelsea going to Newcastle, and Newcastle defeating Chelsea the same way Chelsea used to defeat smaller teams. It beckons on Chelsea going to the City Ground, and the pressure. You can feel Chelsea fans not knowing if Chelsea would win or not. See, let not the Conference League triumph blindfold us into thinking that Chelsea has not arrived. Chelsea is still far, far, far behind.
Okay, still, let's return back to Manchester City and talk about Pep Guardiola right now. He says he wants more of a compact squad, and will it work in the long run? Because you look at the number of competitions they'll be playing, going into the Premier League and the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, the UEFA Champions League, and also now I'm talking about the Club World Cup. That is about on 5 fronts with about just a mere 25, squad players. Yeah, we've seen it work for Liverpool, because Liverpool is one of those clubs you can always look up to. They don't have, lot of players. You look at the bench, they barely have more than 16 good players they can, back on for the whole season. Yes, for the larger part of the season, they deliver. But at the end of the season, they do have that issue. So that is where I'm looking at it for Pep Guardiola right now. On the long run, wanting a compact squad, will he actually work the magic for him?
He answered the question, because when he was told about the marathon, he said there are boys in the academy. So that is opening the doors to the academy boys. Which you saw Chelsea, Achipong, we saw some guys, Tyron George, who scored that important equalizer against Fulham. So he said if injuries eat the score that much, there are guys from the academy that can come up and just give them. Okay, Xavi gave Lamine Yamal just an opportunity because there was a crisis. And look at what the boy has done to today. So sometimes you have to give it a chance, because football, there's nothing 100% about football. Everything is just you presume, you calculate, you try to forecast, you try to predict. So when you bring in quality, but the thing is, you cannot predict that inexperienced boys will win what experienced guys should do. You need experience in the mix of your squad. Look at Real Madrid, the transition. Whenever you see they brought in Vinicius Jr., he was understanding Cristiano Ronaldo, understanding Benzema. Look what he became. So that is the strategy. The young and the old. The old and old the young ones, and bring them up, teach them, encourage them. Because there are games, I remember in my playing days, and there were games whereby, as the captain then, we were struggling for results. They won't call the young boys on the field. They will be calling the experienced guys, because you are the ones carrying the burden. Because those young guys, look at Kopama for example, he fizzled out. So when you look at Man City now, the thing is, bring experience. When there is injuries, we can always introduce. Look at Arsenal. Skelly, when there is injury, when there is a problem, maybe it's time to announce another person. So when there are injuries, bring in the academy, and honestly, I support what Guardiola is trying to do.
Okay, as I'm talking about the academy boys, there's no way we won't talk about the outgoing players at Manchester City. De Bruyne is one of them. It looks like Bernardo Silva might also be kissing Manchester City goodbye, and also Ike Gundogan, and also some players are under scrutiny. Talking about the likes of Foden, Haaland. Yes, I think they are their standards actually fell last season. Probably they are a problem of the standard people put onto them, but a player like Foden, I think last season wasn't the best for Foden.
Yeah, it was massive last season, but he has really been a shadow of himself this season. I think it started
this
from
past season.
Yeah, this past season. It started from the Euros. He didn't really have the best of the best Euros. He was struggling.
I do think he can get back to his best.
I think he can. One thing about Foden is that he benefited from quality around him. So now when you have players that can take on to, it reduces the pressure on the next man. So that's the essence of having quality players. And you know that Kevin De Bruyne was still really good. And one thing we fail to talk about is the impact of Alvarez that was missing this season. Alvarez was a massive player for them. You see some 2-1, 1-0, Alvarez scored a free kick, Alvarez scored a screamer, while De Bruyne was injured. Those little details, they were the ones that were adding up sometimes for Man City. But when Alvarez left, they failed to replace him. So when like now, for instance, Haaland is not available to draw the guys to himself. Even when Haaland is available, this season most times Haaland was misfiring. It's not the Haaland, I think he didn't get up to 20 goals this season.
I doubt if it was more than
Yeah,
20 goals.
Because I know the second is Alexander Isak with 23 goals and Salah 29. So when you look at it, I think the quality that Man City failed to reinvest back into the squad. I think that's why they had this challenge this season. And one thing I know for sure is Pep Guardiola is going to come out all gun blazing. He's not a coach that you can joke with.
Okay, looking at the players Manchester City have been linked up to right now. We have the likes of Czeki from Olympique Lyon, the French international. There's also Tijani Regis, yes, from AC Milan also. But we'll be seeing how much or which of those players will be joining Manchester City when the transfer window fully opens. And going straight to the big one, the UEFA Champions League final coming up tomorrow. Who is your real favorite between PSG and Inter Milan for that game?
Realistically speaking, looking at the flow and the fluidity of the game, it has to be PSG. Because they have a lot of mobile players that can do and undo with the ball. But one thing is that they are a very wasteful side. Now they are playing against Inter that is very clinical.
Compacting.
And when you look at Champions League over I think 10-15 years down now, it's the compact and clinical teams that wins. Look at PSG against Bayern 2020 Champions League final. Look at how PSG was wasteful. Bayern got their chance 1-0 with it. Chelsea, Man City. Man City was doing the Rosemary.
That's overconfidence for Manchester City that night.
Yeah, but when you look at it, how many chances did Chelsea get? I think the main clear chance was the one they converted. Man City got a lot. Look at those blocks Rudiger did, the saves Mendy did in that final. Okay, move. Liverpool, Real Madrid. 9 good saves. But one clinical chance, Vinicius buried it, and that was the end. Now, let's even move to Man City, the one they won. Man City struggled. Inter had more chances, clear chances, that Lukaku missed a sitter, I think, in the box 6. But Rodrigo, with an half chance, he converted it. So, Champions League has tilted towards the clinical side for most of the past 2 decades or thereabout. So you cannot win the Champions League without, if you play to the gallery or bread and butter football, most times you won't get to hold the trophy. You need to be decisive, and that's my fear for PSG. Look at against Arsenal. Look at how many they lost the penalty. Look at how many chances they lost before they called. Imagine Arsenal had more quality than what they had that they could introduce from the bench. Maybe PSG would have gone out of the competition. So I think that based on being clinical in front of goal, I think Inter has the edge. But when you talk about mobility and fluidity, PSG has it. But on this one, I think I'll sit on the fence.
Okay, so let's talk about who are the key players to watch and what are your scorelines prediction. What is your scoreline prediction for the final?
Scoreline. I think it will be around a 2-1, but either side.
So which player are you looking forward to seeing in the final of that UEFA Champions League final?
For me, I think it has to be Kvaratskhelia.
Yeah, Kvaratskhelia talking about the Georgian international. It comes up tomorrow night, Saturday at 8 p.m. You can join us on Premier Sports Fan Center. We'll be in the studio to give you analysis of that encounter, the biggest club football final in the world, UEFA Champions League between Inter Milan and the PSG. Promises to be another interesting cracker of football tonight. And let's move away from that and move straight to talk about the top 10 players to watch in the summer transfer window. We start with some high-profile names of rising stars and market shakers who are on the move on this season. We start with the first one, Trent Alexander-Arnold, who has moved on to Real Madrid. Could a move to Real Madrid actually reignite his career?
Yeah, I think his career is on the upward trajectory. When you move from Liverpool to Real Madrid, you are going high. Because it's the biggest team in world football. I don't think there's any football club that is as big as Real Madrid. They call them the Galactico for a reason. And for them, they just got the best right back in the world. That's what they think. For me, I think I beg to differ. But for them, he is.
He is actually a quality right back.
He's a quality right back, but for me, he's not the best. There are a lot of other. In fact, I still prefer Frimpong to Trent, and a lot. Look at Hakimi. You can't compare Trent with Hakimi. Hakimi does a lot going for, and he still does his defending. So it can be a debate, but Madrid, that's what they, once they identify their target. And I just don't envy Arsenal on Saliba too. But to me, I think it's a good sign.
Okay, so also talking about Jerome Jerome Frimpong will be replacing Trent Alexander-Arnold at Liverpool. He starts a like for like replacement.
Yeah, I think it is a top replacement, replacement that they need now, because Trent doesn't give them a lot of cover defensively. Frimpong will give them that fluidity going forward and also the solidity defending. So I think they've got themselves a good bargain, 35 million, and they'll still get 10 million for Real Madrid. So
okay, moving on, we have Florian Wirtz, the wizard from Bayern Leverkusen. After snubbing Bayern Munich, is Liverpool a realistic destination? Liverpool have submitted a 113 million euros bid for the German international. And coming, that was actually a fantastic player with Bayern Leverkusen. But England, yes, the English Premier League is a different ball game.
Yeah, I think Florian Wirtz was a massive player for Bayern Leverkusen, but we saw Kai Havertz do all those magic for Bayern, the same Leverkusen, and came to the Premier League, was neither here nor there. So I think that Florian Wirtz coming to Liverpool with that amount is a big risk. It's a big risk for Liverpool, because look at that squad. I want to see the way they play, how he will fit in. Because he's more of a number 8, a playmaker. Just give him the ball at will. He can come from the left, come from the right. Let him dictate the pace. Give him initiative. Because if you now try to rubber stamp him, play the left side of attack, you won't get the best Florian Wirtz. He operates from in and out, right, left, central, anywhere. Just try to, he's the one that carries the team at Bayer Leverkusen. So if you don't give him that kind of responsibility in Liverpool, and now in a big team like Liverpool where there is ego, there's Salah, there's Luis Diaz and Gakpo, and everybody wants to show too. So I think that's where the issue will start from. But I think that is a good signing, but it's still blinked to me. I don't know how far it will go with Liverpool.
Okay, we'll be saying how far Florian Wirtz goes with Liverpool, and straight to the Emirates Stadium where they are being linked to one man, Benjamin Sesko, the RB Leipzig striker. Could he be the next elite striker in the EPL? Should he make a move to the EPL?
Yeah, I think Sesko, to me, will not fully solve Arsenal's problem. It's not that prolific enough for me. They need a mobile striker, strength that can bully defenders. So I don't think Sesko can really bully. Yes, he has presence. He plays more like Vlahovic. Vlahovic, good on the hair, but not really that striker that will bully defender. What Gyökeres will give you, what Osimhen will give you, what strikers like Harry Kane will give you. So it's about your capacity to Premier League. That's why when you see strikers that have survived in Premier League, many of them, they know how to bully defender. Diego Costa, DJ Drogba, Thierry Henry, I can begin to count. So there are some technical strikers that have survived the Premier League too. But many of the time, strikers that can bully defenders, they tend to be more successful than the ones that are technical. See, one thing worked for Aguero. Aguero was this striker that had quality all around him. When they spent, there was Yaya Toure, there was this, there was that. But in Arsenal, I don't think that they have that luxury. But to me, 60% good, but not the 80-90%.
Okay, let's go straight to Stamford Bridge and also Ipswich. We have Liam Delap, and it's looking like Chelsea has won the battle for the young England international, who has been labelled as the next hurricane of England. £30 million. Is it a gamble or a bargain for Delap?
It's a gamble. There's no way I'm going to differ from that. It's a gamble. Because now we've seen strikers stray away. We've seen them not perform up to expect. Let me give you a good example. Look at Nicholas Jackson. He was firing on all cylinders. Villarreal came to Chelsea. What did we see now? There's something experience will give you. Now, Jackson would have survived if he was playing behind an hurricane. That the pressure was not on him. the pressure is not on his shoulder, but Harry Kane will carry the pressure and still encourage him. You can take this from me when I leave. Then he will grow properly. But with Liam Delap, you want to make him a top 9 at this age, then you are trying to set him up. It's not Ipswich. Nobody is putting... See, you can do something very well because you are not doing it under pressure. When you want to check the best of the best, it's those people that perform under pressure. Because pressure will define you. Pressure is like fire. It will test you. Now with Leon Delap, it's not under pressure in Ipswich. You miss 2 1-on-1 in Chelsea and see what the media will do to you. Can he handle it? So they need a player that let him be the one to take that. Then Leon Delap will come without pressure. Then he can begin to do his job.
Okay, away from Leon Delap straight to Victor Aikares. 53 goals in 51 matches. Can he replicate that form in the English Premiership? And £55 million, is it a fair price or is it a market overreaction?
I think it's a good price. 55 million for what it's bringing, but it's a risk. We saw that we know that at Liverpool, 55 million came to Liverpool and we didn't really see.
That's where I have my problem with strikers actually coming from the Portuguese league. Because you look at the guy at what's it called, PSG. If I'm not mistaken, what's his name?
Carlos.
No. The one on their bench.
The Portuguese,
the Portuguese striker.
Yes.
I remember his name, but let's move on. Let's move on talk about Icarus here.
So Gyökeres, I think that it will be a good bargain at 55 million, but I don't think too much hope should be put on him because for me, even Turkish league is a more quality league than Portuguese league. When you look at the teams and the competition that is there,
yeah, so, Gonzalo Guedes.
Yes, so it's still left to be seen if Gyökeres will meet those numbers. I don't think so, but it will be a striker that you can rely on to get 20 plus goals, 20 goals a season. And with that age, he's at his peak. He has carried a team. He carried them back to back, done it twice. So it is more or less like something you have done over and over again. It's not that easy for you to just lose your confidence like that, especially when you have a support cast.
Okay. Still talking about the EPL. There's a name every lot of clubs have been linked to, and it has to be Hugo Ekitike of what's it called, Frankfurt. And
yeah,
this man, about 100 million euros is what Frankfurt wants for their topmost striker.
It's not different from Leon Delap. That's what I'm concerned.
I just see him as a profile, same profile with what's it called, Nicholas Jackson to me.
Jackson, Delap, they are in the same WhatsApp group. That's the truth. No, see, YouTube highlight can be deceiving sometimes. When you look at this guy, look at his take-ons, look at his finishing. Look at it. It is obvious. In fact, to me, based on what I've seen from the three of them, I prefer Delap to Ekitike. And Delap is a good bargain at 30 million. But you can't rely. Imagine you want to face Real Madrid or Barcelona, and Delap is your front man. You know one thing, there's one thing having quality striker gives to you that lead the line. It's because it's the first fear factor for the opponent. If you lack that fear factor, they will come at you. If you have that fear factor, they won't come at you. They will have their defenders not joining the attack. But when you have, look at Barcelona against Inter Milan. Barcelona play a lot of high line. But when there was Lautaro Martinez and Thuram, they were checking their runs. But when Real Madrid that didn't have that number 9 profile, they were playing against them. Look at how high they were playing. Did they play high like that against Inter? When you have a profile, number 9, that this guy will punish you, give him 2 chances, he can convert the 2. Your defenders will not join the attack, and when your defense don't join the attack fully, the pressure is reduced. So that is where we are talking about. Have a proper number 9 that can be the fear factor for the opponent. Okay, now how many teams we want to face Bayern and not prepare for Hurricane? You will first design a move, and when you are designing, it is taking something away from your attacking, and that's what we are saying. Disadvantage your opponent even with your lineup. That's where Didier Drogba comes in. Then you know that you have to work on Didier Drogba. So it's like 2-3 guys are already on him. That's -3 in a game of 10 players or 11 players plus goalkeeper. So this is what we are saying, that yeah, you want to go and compete. As much as you want to compete, you need profile. Look at Kopama. His age, he fizzled out. Where did we see him conference fire against Betis? Where was he against Man U that is dying? Where was he against Fulham when we needed him? Under pressure, where was he against Nottingham Forest? So I don't blame him. He has quality, but where's the experience? He has not carried this team enough. So okay, just imagine with that Kopama now, the playmaker, is just looking at a Gakaris or Victor Osimhen in front, or maybe an Hurricane. You know, there's something he gives. I remember when I was still playing, when I see that, there's one guy called John. He's a very good finisher. So when I see him in front, I load him with passes. I close, I drop it, because I know that at least out of 5 he will convert 2 or 1. And that's the attitude on the field of play.
Well, talking about a clinical striker, woman will always come to the mind of everybody. Victor Osimhen. Can Chelsea realistically afford him, or will the Saudi Arabia Pro League lock him away? What is next for his career?
For me, I don't think Victor Osimhen should go to Saudi now. Because if there's a player that can make Nigeria at least close to Ballon d'Or, it's Victor Osimhen. The 30-something goals he scored at Gala, if he scored it at Chelsea or Arsenal, it will be in the conversation for the Ballon d'Or. So I think that, yeah, he wants a salary, but can he shift a little? Not much, a little. Maybe he's expecting 240 net, maybe shift it to 180, 160. Or maybe put more realistic add-ons in that contract. You know, like I saw something about Neymar that when he claps to the fans, add-ons. I don't know how true that is, but I'm just joking. But add realistic add-ons. And I think that Osimhen, with the way things are, I think the only club that can really go for him is either a PSG. And you know, the Barcelona striker is aging. So maybe Barcelona, and Real Madrid doesn't have a striker, and maybe Real Madrid. But for English clubs, it's blink. It's not clear.
On the start, Victor Osimhen won't be staying with Galatasaray until start of next season. So we'll be monitoring where Victor Osimhen will be playing his trade next season. That's 2025-2026 season. Will he be in Europe, or will he be going straight to the Middle East? Talking about the Saudi Arabia League. And lastly, on the transfer window, we talk about Manchester United captain Bruno Fernandes, who has been linked with a big money move up to Saudi Arabia. Should he be making that move? Manchester United are in turmoil. They need the money. £100 million on the table from Saudi Arabia. What should they do?
It depends on. I don't know the financial status of Bruno Fernandes.
I think he's on 300 at Manchester United, and he has 700 on the table right now.
Yeah, if he's on 300 at Man U, and
at the age of 30.
He's 30 already. I think that wisdom will tell him to go because even Man U will start deserting him in 2 years' time. So instead of being deserted, and part of that 100 million too, he will still have something, you know, at the end of the day. So 200 million, 3 years deal, not bad.
It's not really bad for Bruno Fernandes. We'll also be following that to see where the Manchester United captain will be playing his trade next season. Will he be convinced to join a Saudi Arabia club, or will he keep on to, you know, emotions and stay with Manchester United and be that how they call it, you know, that servant you can always look up to, that loyalty to the club. Straight away, let's go look at the Unity Cup, which the final is coming up tomorrow between the Super Eagles of Nigeria and the Reggae Boys of Jamaica.
I think that it's a friendly competition, but I expect the Super Eagles to take that one easy.
Okay. The manager also talked about, you know, him wanting to look into making some substitutions for that final game.
Yeah, you see, this cup is a good test for him. One thing I notice is when you see the Super Eagles on the last 3 games, you will see a team that is going in one direction. It's trying to build something. I think this kind of coach, give him time, give him like 3 years. Is the kind of manager that can except if another country comes with the money, it can go far with the Super Eagles. With what I'm seeing so far, I think the guy knows what he's doing.
Okay, lastly, the Super Falcons are also be going up tomorrow against the indomitable Lioness of Cameroon in the friendly match.
Yeah, I think Cameroon has always been the familiar foe for the Super Falcons. But I think that they should be able to defeat Cameroon. This Cameroon is not the Cameroon we used to know. So I think it should be all the win for the Super Falcons.
Okay, you can also go to the Remo Stars of Stadium tomorrow at Ikene to have a view of the Super Falcons of Nigeria playing against the indomitable Lioness of Cameroon. It's always a pleasure having you in the studio, yeah, mates.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure being here with you.
Okay,
It's really long week of football. Then Champions League tomorrow, and let's just see if we are going to celebrate one or two or something. But it's all good.
It's all good from Club World Cup contenders to summary transfer balls and the Champions League final that could reshape European football. We've covered it up today. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Who wins the UEFA Champions League? Will it be PSG or Inter Milan? Which transfer rumor excites or shock you the most? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us for more exclusive insights on TalkSport. Until next time, keep the game beautiful and not bye for now.
Oh, and another goal for Super Eagles.